The WNBA just authorized a strike. 93% of players voted yes. Only 3 said no. And here's the thing: nobody's talking about those 3 players who voted no. They might be the only ones thinking clearly right now.
Just to get you guys up to speed there, 93% of the players participated in the vote. So 93% of players in the WNBA. And how many is that? Could we do the math? I believe that there's 166 WNBA players times 0.93. Is that right? So 154 players voted and 3 players. So only 3 players voted no to the authorization of a strike.
While everyone else is throwing confetti over this so-called unity, I'm staring at the calendar, and it tells a very different story. It's the off-season. No practices. No games. No labor being performed. So tell me, what exactly are they striking from? Their living rooms. Their couches. This is like storming out of a job you're not even scheduled to work. It sounds bold, but when you slow it down, it barely makes sense. Now rewind for a second. The WNBA Players Association just detonated a strike authorization vote that's being sold as historic solidarity. 154 players cast ballots. Only 3 said no. 3. The message they want you to hear is loud and clear. Give us what we want, or we burn it all down. That sounds intimidating. That sounds like power. That sounds like a movement standing shoulder to shoulder, daring the league to blink. But here's the part nobody wants to say out loud. There's a fatal flaw hiding in plain sight. They're not sitting on unrivaled equity. They're not cashing Project B checks. They're the middle of the roster. The bottom half. The players who understand the risk no one else wants to talk about. Because if this turns into a lockout or a full-blown stoppage, they're the first to bleed. Breanna Stewart and Nafisa Collier own unrivaled. They get paid no matter what. The elite tier has overseas contracts, sponsorships, safety nets. But what about the 8th player off the bench making league minimum? The one with no endorsements, no backup league, no runway. What happens to her when there's no season and no paycheck coming? Those 3 no votes aren't betrayal. They're survival instincts. They represent the players who can't afford to treat this like a game of chicken. And in a room full of people posturing for strength, they might be the only ones actually staring at reality.
I do wonder, with these 3 players that voted against the strike, if I were to guess, I would say that these 3 players were probably players who aren't big-time players. Because if a strike or a lockout happens, it's going to hurt those middle tier and lower tier players more than it's going to hurt any of the stars.
Now, let's walk straight into the part of the room everyone's pretending not to see. The conflict that nobody wants to name. Because sitting at the bargaining table are Nafisa Collier and Breanna Stewart, not just as player representatives, but as owners of Unrivaled, a league that directly competes with the WNBA. On top of that, the union president has just put pen to paper with Project B, another would-be rival. And we're all supposed to nod along and believe this is perfectly clean. No overlap, no incentives, no pressure. Stop and really think this through. If the WNBA season disappears, where does the audience go? They don't vanish. They migrate. Straight to Unrivaled. Straight to Project B. Overnight, those leagues become the only show left on the stage. I'm not accusing anyone of plotting this outcome, but pretending the optics don't matter is insulting. It's like asking business owners to negotiate the shutdown of their competitors while swearing their motives are purely moral. And here's the part that's going to get me flamed. The fans aren't coming with them. They just aren't. You really think casual viewers who tuned in because they heard the name Caitlin Clark on ESPN are suddenly going to chase down obscure broadcasts or learn new platforms to watch alternative leagues? No chance. We've already seen this movie. Look at podcasting. Joe Rogan went exclusive to Spotify. Alex Cooper did the same. How many casual listeners followed? A sliver. Even with massive brands and die-hard audiences, the reach collapsed. And what happened next? They ran back to YouTube because exclusivity strangled growth. The exact same thing will happen if women's basketball splinters. The WNBA didn't get here overnight. It took decades of infrastructure, TV deals, marketing, and hard-won visibility. You don't rebuild that with vibes and star names alone. Unrivaled may have money and marquee talent, but it doesn't have the machine. Project B doesn't even have a clear identity yet. We haven't seen the product, the schedule, or the vision. And neither league could realistically absorb a full WNBA roster even if they wanted to. So when players talk about having options, about walking away and playing elsewhere if demands aren't met, they're mistaking theoretical alternatives for real leverage. Because here's the brutal truth nobody wants to confront. If there's no WNBA season in 2026, the league takes a hit, but the players take the bigger one.
The viewers are not going to follow. They're truly not going to follow. I think it would absolutely be catastrophic if they don't play a 2026 season. Just look at like podcasting, for example, when like Joe Rogan or Alex Cooper went to Spotify and how many people went over there.
The league can afford to sit still. It's done it before. It's survived red ink, slow growth, and long winters with no spotlight. It has the NBA standing behind it like a safety net. If it has to swallow a lost year, it can. It will regroup. It will relaunch. But the real question is whether the players can survive the same pause. Can they stomach an entire season with no salary, no visibility, no forward momentum? Can they watch the buzz they worked years to build dissolve while fans drift to the next shiny thing? That's the risk nobody wants to stare at. Now listen closely, because this part matters. After the strike authorization dropped, the league fired back, and they didn't mince words. They accused the union of twisting the facts, of selling a distorted version of the negotiations. According to the league, they've already put serious money on the table, immediate pay increases paired with an uncapped revenue-sharing model. Uncapped, no ceiling. As the league grows, player pay grows with it. Automatically. But the union keeps calling the proposal an insult. A slap in the face. Lipstick on a pig. The infighting, the strike threats, the whispers of conflicted interests, it's all left a residue. Fans are exhausted. They didn't tune in to learn labor law. They tuned in to watch basketball. The casual viewers who showed up last season because of Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese don't care about revenue percentages or bargaining frameworks. They care about one thing: are their games on? And if this drags past January 9th, if it turns into a lockout or a real stoppage, I honestly believe it could rewind the league by years. Not because the players aren't worth more, but because timing is everything in sports. The WNBA finally cracked the mainstream. It finally mattered in the cultural conversation. Advertisers finally paid attention. You don't gamble that momentum when a middle ground exists. The three players who voted no understand that. They understand that sometimes winning isn't about squeezing for perfection. It's about knowing when to take the progress in front of you. They understand that chasing the ideal can destroy the good. The Thunder want payback after the last loss, and it's in OKC. Normally, easy pick. But I'm choosing chaos. Give me the Spurs again just for the storyline. Wembanyama on Christmas with revenge in the air? Can't miss. Dallas at Golden State. Warriors at home. Steph Curry on Christmas is a tradition. Golden State takes it. Houston versus the Lakers. Tough call. Houston's gritty, but coming off a loss. Lakers at home with LeBron on a holiday? I'll take LA. Minnesota at Denver. Am I really calling another road upset? Yes. Minnesota just beat OKC, and Anthony Edwards lives for hostile arenas. Wolves steal it. There it is. Screenshot it. Roast me tomorrow if I miss. But here's the difference. Those games are real. They're happening. We know basketball will be played. That's what separates a functioning league from one flirting with self-destruction over negotiations that should have been resolved months ago. The WNBA has one last window before January 9th to choose stability over spectacle. After that, it's either resolution or chaos. And if chaos wins, remember who pushed for the brink and who pushed for balance. Remember who fought to play and who chose posture over product. Because fans don't obsess over CBAs. They obsess over the game. And if you take that away at the peak of growth, don't be shocked if they never come back. That's it for me. Drop your thoughts. Are the players standing strong or pushing too far? Let's talk. And to everyone celebrating the holidays, enjoy your people, enjoy the moment, and let's hope January brings basketball, not more smoke.